Ms. Mariah Davidson, please?
This is she.
Hi, Ms. Davidson. It's Kim Dent with the Commission on Fatherhood, ODJFX. How are you this afternoon?
I could be way better. How are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, it's Wednesday. It's hump day, Ms. Davidson. I'm just looking forward to Friday.
Right.
Yes. So, again, and thank you so much for your patience. I know we played phone tag for a while, but I'm just happy we were able to get a scheduled date on time to talk. And so I read through your email, but I just wanted to hear a little bit more because I know some of the, there were 6 attachments, and I just wanted to make sure I understood, exactly like what they were. So can you just kind of fill me in a little bit on, like, from the beginning, what happened? Was the shared parenting order filed at the same time child support was ordered? So can you just kind of help fill in those blanks for me, just so I have the story 100% correct?
So the day that we went to go and set the child support order, the father's attorney gave the child support worker a paper that stated she filed a motion for allegation of parental rights. It wasn't an order, it was absolutely nothing, so a child support order should have been set that day. They didn't do anything at all. They were like, we'll see you in court, we're not setting a child support order, whatever. Okay, perfectly fine. After almost 3 years of him not being there, okay? It was complete shock. Whatever, we go to the courts, and then I'm told I'm forced that he gets shared parenting regardless of if he was there or not. That he's a custodial father and a residential father. And I look in my file after they finally decided to file everything. It's a closed child support case. This case has nothing to do with visitation. The father did not file his parental rights according to law because of the child support worker basically allowing that. He never did a name change on my daughters. I just got recent Social Security cards that my daughters still have the last name Davidson. Okay, so...
And that's okay. I mean, the kids can have whatever last name.
Yeah, but it's not okay for the father to not file his parental rights according to law, ma'am, because of child support.
Okay, so I do know about 3109.042 about an unwed woman who gives birth to a child, because that's kind of where my wheelhouse lies. And I worked in the child support program, and so basically there is an option, or an opportunity, and this is what I wanted to make sure that I'm not missing, when someone does file for child support at the same time, if the parties agree on a parenting time order. I just wanted to make sure that's not what occurred.
That is not what occurred. You can see the parenting plan that was filed. That's not a notarized plan. There's nothing on that. I literally was told, this is what it is, and this is it. That's why I continue to fight, because this is not fair.
Okay, so that's another question. I'm glad we went to this parenting, because the other document that you sent to me, which is also pretty confusing, it has Madison County Court of Common
That's a falsified document that the father filed in the child support case stating that he has shared parenting. I went to Madison County. That is not even a court. Madison County is probate or juvenile. That's it. There's no domestic court in Madison County. I also got confirmation from the judge in Madison County. For whatever reason, they were trying to say that there was a court, that there is no case between Logan and I in Madison County. So therefore, that document is a falsified document, and it was done on purpose. It was not a typo, because if it was a typo, it would have said Madison County probate.
Yeah. Well, a couple things on this document that concerns me, Ms. Davidson. First of all, who gave you this document? Who provided this to you?
I went to the court and I got a copy of it from records. One of the ladies that wanted to do her job at the beginning of the year gave me a copy of my record when I ordered it, like I should be entitled to, and no documents should be taken out.
Okay, so here's a couple things. Your name is handwritten in, but his is not.
Right, there's a dead attorney bar number right beside Deborah DeSanto's name also. I brought this up.
I might not be looking at the right. I'm looking at the, let me see. I don't see Deborah's name here. I have to look at the other document. The one I'm referring to says in the Madison County County Court of Common Pleas, Division of Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch.
So it would be the signature page that would be attached to that?
Okay, let me go to that. Give me 1 second. That must have been a separate attachment, so just give me 1 sec to get to that. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, let's start with the first one that I had mentioned, because that kind of concerns me a little bit. So, because it says at the top, Franklin County, Ohio Clerk of Courts, Common Pleas, 2014, and January 3rd, and it gives the time. But then underneath it has Madison County. That was a concern for me, because it has a Madison County document, and then it has a bunch of filing, even on the side here, Common Pleas, Franklin County Clerk of Courts. Then there's some stuff that's scribbled out underneath there as well. I would like to know what that is too. So that's kind of odd. So let me go to the signature page that you referred to. And so you have, so there's the judge's name, shared parenting, Logan Walker. This was from January 3rd. Okay, I don't see the attorney's name yet, so I must be on the wrong document.
I could send it to you again if you don't have it. It's like the...
Okay.
Okay.
No, yeah, here I go to the next one. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is the third actual document.
Yeah, that is a dead attorney's bar number, not Deborah DeSantos. And that's what is driving me nuts, is that I attempted to speak with Judge Gill and explain to her, and I realized, and I was completely shocked. I got the shock of my life when I noticed that she knew what was going on in my case. She said, if you want to defend yourself, you need to learn the law. Are you kidding me? After everything that his attorney did in my case, this is absolutely insane. Like, Judge Gill didn't even care what I had to say about the document.
Wow. Have you gone to the appeals? You know what? That's how we...
Yep. I was arrested for interference with custody for my own daughters because I didn't give them up because of this child support case, which I should have never been charged or convicted or arrested or anything with interference with custody of my own daughters, because that doesn't pertain to me and my daughters. That would be if I were to hold my nephew against my sister or whatever the situation, if it was not my child. So
explain to me, why were you arrested in Stevenson?
Because I didn't give my children. Because I didn't surrender my 2 twin daughters.
Gotcha.
Yep. And so I attempted to appeal, okay, because I know that that's not right. I should have never been charged, and and honestly, I thought that Judge Peoples would have done the right thing and complied with the law, and I'm really shocked, and I was hurt that she didn't, because she gave me 2 years of probation and parenting classes and everything else, when she knew that shouldn't have even been, that shouldn't have even been happening. Okay, so I attempted to appeal it. I paid $715 for the damn transcripts, and the clerk at the appeal court purposely did not file my request for transcripts. I have an email from one of the appellant attorneys at the city attorney's office telling me, oh, transcript request was filed, we're just waiting on a decision from the judge. I'm like, you guys are lying, you're lying, and I'm arguing with everybody, and I'm like, case details do not say request for transcript. My request for transcript does not have an appeal stamp on it. I'm not an attorney, but I'm not ignorant. Okay? And so they took my money, and they did not file my request for transcripts. My request for transcripts was not filed because my appeal was denied because I didn't file the brief on time.
So what happened to your $700?
They kept it. They didn't even give me my fucking money. That's what's pissing me off, is I've spent so much... I mean, it's crazy.
Okay. Let me just make sure that other parts, again, I just need to make sure before I reach out to Franklin County Child Support to Susan. She's out right now, I think until next week, but I want to get ahead of this so that when I do speak with her, I kind of know exactly what's going on. And again, I am that type of person that I just have to make sure I have my, ducks in a row. And I am fully, comprehending everything.
It's like when I saw your picture online, you look like a genuine person. You look like somebody that's why I emailed you. And, I thought that a lot of other people would be genuine too and comply with the law. And it's so insane to me how even my children's school, my daughters still go to the same school district because the father didn't file his parental rights according to law. So he can't take my daughters out of the school system or put them in another school system. So the
school system where you live.
Right. So the school will not give me any information about my daughters, like as far as their education or anything. They won't even speak to me. They literally think I'm batshit crazy. I'm stared at like I'm a psychopath. Like, oh, there's a lady that needs to take the psychological examination. No, the reason why my daughters were taken was because I did not submit to a psychological evaluation with a male doctor. Because I did not feel comfortable, and I told the magistrate this, I don't feel comfortable doing an examination of any kind with a male doctor. I don't care if it's a mental evaluation or a physical evaluation, it doesn't matter. So I took my own records.
Ms. Davidson, so I understand.
Yeah, I took my own records, and it still wasn't good enough, so my kids were taken.
Okay. Now, when you say, and I just want to make sure, because you said you didn't surrender them, so you were arrested, and so who took them? Was it Children's Services involved in this, or this was just basically the law?
Okay, so what happened was I got arrested, and I got out of jail, and I got an attorney, Don Olson, paid him the retainer, and he is like, tells me in the representation letter from somebody from his law firm, says, I have it on the email, they're like, oh, well, you don't have to go to court this day, Don Olson is going to represent you, and you don't have to go, whatever. So I didn't go. And then I get a call from Don Olson, like, why aren't you here? You're getting a warrant out for your arrest. So they put a freaking warrant out for my arrest, and I was like, I went into hiding because I didn't want them to take my daughters, because I knew for a fact that as soon as I gave up my daughters, I wasn't going to see my daughters. And that's not fair. Okay, so any mother would have done the same damn thing, but if it was an emergency to take my daughters, the alert should have been put out for my daughters, not for me. So anyways, there was
not to come to court.
One of the people in Don Olson's law firm, and his Luffman and the Luffman and Heck law firm, in the representation letter, it states clearly, you do not have to appear in court. Don Olson, your attorney, will appear for you. So then there was a warrant put out for my arrest, and I had to, in order for the police to stop looking for me, there was 8 Columbus police officers that came into my house when my husband was here and my 2 sons. My son was 13 and my other son was 9. My 9-year-old son was playing in my bedroom. They came into my home with guns drawn, looking for me at gunpoint. My son was in the bedroom. You can see by the innocent people that get killed by police officers every day. And a mistake, what if they would have thought that was me or something? They obviously were coming to try and teach me a lesson if they had their guns drawn. So at that point, I felt like I had no choice but to surrender my daughters. And I had to, my mom took them to Children's Hospital, to the mental health part or whatever, because that's the only thing that the doctors could suggest that we do to get them help. The father, when the girls were at the hospital, stated he didn't want anything to do with the girls. So the sheriffs had no choice but to transfer them to Children's Services. There was a...
Who said they didn't want anything to do with the girls?
Logan Walker, one of the social workers at the hospital, had stated Logan didn't want anything to do with the children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So... then the girls my sister sat there with the girls all night after, my mom had left, and Children's Services had spoken to my sister, and they're like, well, since Logan doesn't want the girls, basically, and because of this order from the judge, this illegal order from the judge, we can make a plan with you so that way the girls can go with you. My sister literally sat there for hours and hours and hours. My sister got up to go to the restroom, and as soon as she got up and went to the restroom, 2 sheriffs came in, took my daughters, did not even wait for my sister to follow them in the vehicle like they said that they were going to, and I haven't seen my daughter since. And then when we went to court, right, 7 days or 9 days after I surrendered my daughters, basically, Deborah DeSanto said that in court that the girls had a hard time. I bet they did. They didn't want to go with you guys. Look at David Corey, the stepfather, the one that works for the state. His dissolution of marriage, he's a child abuser, and there's domestic violence, domestic violence shelter that he went to send his ex-wife to. Come on now. And I've never had anything on my record. I do nothing.
So, Ms. Davison, you don't know where your daughters are now?
No, I have not spoken to my daughters. I swear to God, I have not spoke to my daughters. I sent my daughters with a cell phone. They took the cell phone from them, and they took my daughter Maddie had chokers that I had gotten her for her birthday. And she's like, Mom, I'm going to wear these forever. They made her take them off, and she didn't even have them. I have not spoken to them in over a fucking year. I'm going to fucking flip out. I'm going to go to the governor's office. I didn't go today for the simple reason that I'm not going to give that motherfucker a chance to leave. He's going to hear what I have to say. Everybody's going to hear what I have to say. You guys might be able to terminate people's parental rights for no fucking reason, but I'm not going to be made out of a fool. I have my amendment rights to be able to defend myself, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, well, Ms. Davidson, first of all, mother to mother, I'm a mother of 3. And first of all, I'm so sorry. I hear the pain in your voice. I absolutely do.
I'm so sad. You have no idea. I'm done fighting. I don't want this, but I'm not going to live under their control and the illegal misconduct that they did.
Yeah. And I understand, and I think that's why, give me a moment to talk to Director Susan Brown and whoever else is involved in Franklin County Child Support. Again, she's out, I think, until the 10th, and I will confirm that, which I think is Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I think
well, these documents that say final appeal, okay, they have not, it says on, you can see in the record, nothing has been served. I'm not waiting and giving you guys time to finalize my parental rights, knowing that you guys violated my civil rights, because it's a violation of civil rights when you violate the due process.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what you mean by you guys, and I work for the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. I do work for the state.
Right, and I no longer get benefits. The insurance is on because of the COVID restrictions, but I don't get benefits anymore. And I've been called a welfare mom. I mean, I just trash. I'm uneducated.
That's so inappropriate. There's nobody at the state or county that called you that, have they?
I can guarantee you can watch the cameras in the courts and you can hear every single thing that they're saying about me. Okay, so
I don't have jurisdiction over the court.
My daughters resemble their father more than what they resemble me, because I'm Native American, okay? I look more Native American than some people, okay? My skin is a little bit darker than most people.
And I'm sure it's beautiful, because that's beautiful color.
I appreciate that. So I have a son and a daughter and another son that are half Hispanic. My son has dark skin. He can't help it. We love each other. Judge.
Rainbow. It sounds like a beautiful rainbow to me. And that's the other question. So you have other minor children with you, right? So you have how many?
3.
Your daughter? 3?
Yeah, I've had 4 pregnancies, but I have 5 children.
Okay. So you have 3 other children with you.
Yeah.
And they're not with, I'm so sorry, Logan. I almost forgot his name.
No, Logan's not the father of them, so they couldn't take them from me. There's literally, you have to have a reason according to law to be able to terminate somebody's parental rights. And for me, it seems a little messed up that I can maintain my parental rights when it pertains to my other children, but I'm a piece of shit basically when it comes to my 2 white daughters that shouldn't be in the middle of a mixed family. That's exactly what it is. I'm sorry, Anybody can say what they want to say, but what I got from Judge Gill is she's a racist. Brittany Galloway is a racist. They wanted to take my white daughters away from my family. Okay? I'm sorry, half of my family is black and Hispanic.
Miss Davidson.
It's crazy.
Okay. So not Logan's kid. How old? So you said your daughters are twins?
Yeah, they're 11 years old now.
11 years old. Okay. 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 And so the only reason why I ask you for time is I need to reach out to Director Susan Brown about, this issue and kind of where we are, if there is anything that you can. And here's the thing, Ms. Davidson, and I'm just speaking to you now, mother to mother, and so we're very passionate. I am that mama bear. I have 2 daughters and a son, and especially when it comes to my son, I am that mama bear, okay? But the last thing I want to happen is for you, again, to be arrested and go to prison or to jail because you have these other 3 kids that need you. So there's that in that box there.
Well, provoking people to commit crimes is not okay either.
It's not, but we also are responsible for ourselves. There is a way to properly address the system. I don't want you to do it improperly to cause things that are even worse for your other 3 kids because they need you just as much as your twin daughters do, okay? So I just, mother to mother, I know that's a hard thing to do and a hard thing to swallow based on what you told me your history has been with the system. But this is my first time kind of hearing about it and, needing to delve in a little bit more and get more and hear more about it before I can even help, because the person that I need to, who I do have a really good relationship with, Director Brown, because she is a commissioner, as you can see on the commission page. And I used to work for child support, so that is my background. I worked for Franklin County Child Support 98 to 2002, and then I came to the state. So, I do know the system. I'm not going to say the system works all the time. As an African-American woman, I can tell you, yes, I have seen broken pieces of a lot of systems, not just in Ohio, but everywhere. But just as a mother, and the fact that you have a husband and 3 other children that need you, I just want to make sure that you don't forget and not give up this battle if that's how you feel, but going about it the right way.
Yeah,
that's what I want for you.
Right.
So, okay.
I've been very nice when it comes to child support and speaking to everybody. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt until I see that. Basically, I can see that a lot of people in Columbus that work in the system know exactly what happened in my case and know exactly what's going on, and it's something that people have allowed. But I'm going to say right now, I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, whoever allowed this messed with the wrong mother, okay? Because I will do whatever I have to do to maintain my parental rights for my 2 daughters, okay, which should not be taken from me. If the father wants rights for them, he needs to go file his parental rights according to law, okay? So I'm going to tell you.
And I'm not disputing that at all. You didn't hear me say no. And I hear you. I do know about 3109.042. I know there's legislation.
Yeah, I just, because I know you're going to speak to Susan Brown, so you can clarify that for her, that I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to continue to fight. Whatever I have to do, I promise my daughters I'm going to do. I can guarantee you, if one of those people, whoever did all this bullshit, spoke to my daughters right now and asked them if they want to see their mother, you'll see what they feel. And then you're going to be like, why would you people do this?
Yeah, and that's something I want to know as well. I mean, yeah, and I think that's where I need to really delve in and understand, because I don't understand. There's custody and there's parenting time, but why? It's almost like your rights as a mother has been revoked, and they've
been violated completely. Yeah. And when somebody's rights are look, right now my inspiration is coming from Martin Luther King, and that is 100, because he watched so many people died, and himself died fighting for these rights that I'm fighting for my civil rights. And I'm not going to stop. And you know what? If I have to put myself in front of that to get my daughters to fight for my civil rights, I will.
Okay, just remember your other 3 children. Because this could...
Okay, well then what the courts need to do is the courts need to surrender my daughters. Before all of this stuff gets blown out of proportion and people, because the public is not going to be okay with the system screwing over a mother like you guys, like, not you, whoever, whatever, the people that did.
Yeah.
The public is not going to be okay with this, okay? I don't have social media. I don't indulge in social media. That's the devil's playground, okay?
I don't have social media either, Ms. Davidson. I am along with you. I have no Facebook page. I have no Instagram, no Twitter, nothing.
I don't allow my children, my 14-year-old son, he wouldn't even know how to use Facebook because I don't allow my children to have social media because it's just horrible stuff. So getting my story out has been very hard because of that. Because I'm not a ratchet ass bitch that's online posting everything. Okay?
I understand. I do. But again, and I get it. And I think if I were you, I would fight the Supreme Court, the Ohio Supreme Court, or even
the Supreme Court won't do anything. The Supreme Court literally is allowing all of this crap to happen because the Supreme Court does not want this to get out because this has been happening. Mothers' rights have been violated by the people wanting rights for fatherhood. It's okay for a father to be involved with his children, but my God, they want me to comply with the law. They need to comply with the law. Okay, so I'm not going to fight anything in the Supreme Court because I have attempted to report Judge Gill way before anybody else got involved in this situation, and the Ohio Supreme Court didn't give a shit. So I'm not going about that.
I was talking more about the United States. That's why I think how things get up to.
Okay, if you're talking about the Ohio Supreme Court, Judge Gill is very protected at the Ohio Supreme Court, and she knows damn well she is.
Well, I'm just saying, if feeling as passionate as you do, and I would as well. My daughters, I have 2 that are grown. But if that were the situation, yes, I would fight the Supreme Court. But again, I think that as frustrated as I would be, I still would want to...
You have not gone through the situation that I'm going through, ma'am, where you have had your daughters taken for over a year.
Yeah, and if I did, I would...
If you did, you would be flaming, your blood would be boiling just like mine.
It would be boiling.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up at the governor's office, and I'm not going to tell you guys when I'm going to go.
That's fine, Ms. Davidson. That's absolutely... You do what you feel you
The governor has to manage his courts, and he has to manage child support.
And so what I'm saying to you is whatever you do, because you know what it's going to make you feel better. I just want to make sure that whatever you do is going to keep you out of harm's way, A, and B, out of incarceration. Because then you can't do anything. You can't fight to get your daughters back.
Once the courts cannot charge me with something that they have provoked me to do.
I don't know what the courts, I can't speak on that.
I would like to see them try. I would like to see them try, and when the public finds out, and when I get into an arraignment, and that's public, I will say everything that I have to say. So they can go ahead and try and charge me with whatever they need to surrender my daughters.
Yeah, and there's so many people, again,